Right, folks, welcome to our Cheltenham previews. If you don't know how we're going to work them, if you watch back on our Dundalk previews, or if you do watch our Dundalk previews regularly, you'll know exactly how we're going to work this. Me, Dean, and Alan are going to give our selections, really, and hopefully knock a few winners and maybe a few nice each-way prices out. Dean, anything to add?
No, definitely not. I think it's just hopefully people enjoy the week and make a few pounds. That's the important things, and all steam ahead then, full steam ahead then for Dundalk on Friday night. Hopefully.
Yep. If we do half as good as we do at Dundalk, we'd be doing all right.
You're right.
And just on that note, for those of you who have been watching the videos, will know that Hollywood Bets are running the Punters Challenge for Dundalk, and they are now running it for Cheltenham too. So each day of the Cheltenham Festival, they have a prize pool of €250 available. So yeah, it's a free competition. If you don't want to deposit money into a betting account, all money then would go to charity. But if you do have a betting account, then the money's yours if you win, really.
Yeah, you bet €10 on the day up until the last race, I think it is, to avail of or to be in with a chance of winning the cash prize. Like anybody that follows our previews at Dundalk and maybe follows along with the Hollywood Bets challenge or Punters Challenge at Dundalk, it's really fun. Covers the day. It's about a crack. You get to see who's all entered and who's picked what and what points, and it's a good way for testing yourself out against a pile of other people who love Dundalk or now Cheltenham.
Yeah, like that's it. Like if you don't fancy having a bet yourself, like it's a fun way of getting involved, really.
Yeah, and it lasts the whole day as well, like which is the exciting thing.
Exactly.
And they work it by. Are they working it, Ryan, the same as the Dundalk? How many's entered in the race? You get points for, so say if you won a 5-horse race, you get 5 points for that race, and then if your selection one's at 4-1, you get another 4 points on top of that. Is that correct?
There will be a tutorial video on our Twitter page and our Facebook pages tomorrow.
Yeah, so do be sure to check them out. And I think if you go on to the hollywoodbets.ie for anybody listening or watching it from the Republic of Ireland, they will have a tutorial on their website as well for it. It'll be near enough at the top. I think I've seen the day when I was on the website.
Yeah, and the links all that will be in the description below. Now, anyway, Dean, into the Cheltenham stuff. We'll have Alan on.
How was the hangover today, Sharky?
None. Like a wee daisy today. Tired of fucking hell and all these videos. Right. Welcome to day 2 of our Cheltenham previews. We'll kick things off with the Ballymore. It's a 3-horse race, really, boys, isn't it? Alan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, it's Bob Ollinger for me. Look, he was second to Fernie Hollow in a maiden hurdle in Gorn. He went on the nav and he won probably what I thought was a bit of a non-event at the time where he was 1-8. He beat Dunboyne by 14 lengths. Dunboyne's come out in frank that form since. He really impressed me though in the Lawlers at Naas. I was very, very sweet in Blue Lord in that race. Blue Lord pulled far, far too hard. But Bob Ollinger was very impressive. And just, he had Gabanaka in behind. Now, Gabanaka was put up to us as a handicapper to follow. So it's something just to keep an eye on. He looks very special. I just think he could be too good in this race. He 15-8. Like he was, 9-4, 11-4 in places. I think he could start the day off with a bang for the Irish.
Yeah, well, Jamie Codd tipped him up on the Sky Sports Wrestling preview, and he kind of went in ever since that. He was actually drifting out a little bit before that. Yeah, but I completely agree with you. Like he has really proven that he is good enough, and like you said, the only one that's beat him is Fernie Hollow, and that hasn't been seen since that race. I do like Brave Man's Game, the Paul Nicholls horse. He's been compared to Denman. Like, you don't get too many comparisons to Denman that often. Like, and for Nicholls to say it himself, and Cobden to come out and say it's probably one of the best ones he's ridden. Look, he won a Grade 1 by 10 lengths. I know it wasn't a brilliant Grade 1, but it was still a Grade 1. The other one I do like is Gaillard de Menil. It's the other one of the three. That's 5-2 now. Paul Townend riding Willie Mullins trains, not right. Wouldn't like to see Willie Mullins on him. He has been mega impressive so far. He won a maiden by as many lengths as you like. And then went and won a Grade 1 by about 5 lengths. I just think maybe the hill at the end, when the three of them are going at it up the hill, I think he could be the one that won't be there. I know I absolutely love Gaillard Manil, and he's probably the horse that I followed the most this year. I just don't think he has it in him to do this. I'd probably go Brave Man's Game myself.
I'm all over Brave Man's Game. I'll be totally honest. Bob Ollinger's very, very good horse. But Brave Man's Game, like, this has been the target. They're happy to come here. His last run was 7 to 8 days ago. Bob Ollinger's was 63 and Gaillard de Menil was 39. You know, like, they're happy to go there fresh with their time off. He's had 4 runs. The other two have had 3. Bob Ollinger 1 and 2 and coming second once, and Gaillard de Menil the exact same. I just think he's got a bit more experience. He looks like a good stayer, and that race at Sandown, was it? No, it wasn't Sandown. Where was his last race? In Haydock, was it?
Oh, Sandown and Tallow.
Yeah, it was the Challow, not Furl.
Oh, it was Challow at Newbury.
Newbury, that's where it was. His last run in the Challow in Newbury, like, you know, he just kept extending. You know, when Harry Cobden asked him, you could see, you know, asked him to pick up, you could just see the horse kicking into gear and just striding away from them. Like, although the ones I'm behind him have come out and the Glancing Queens run okay, I suppose. There's nothing to be really shouting and raving about, but, like, you can only beat what's in front of you. I just think there's a lot to like. 11-4 is a big price for this lad.
I'll tell you what I did like. I liked how decisive they were that they were going here to the Ballymore. Like, Bob Ollinger and Gaillard Neil had entries into the Supreme, and that Brave Man's Game only had 1 goal, and that was the Ballymore.
Yeah. 100%.
We'll move on to the Brown Advisory. I'm not even going to look past Monkfish. I just think Monkfish is an absolute monster. Won that Flowgas chase so impressively, beating Latest Expedition and Asterion for Launch. And even the Grade 1 before that beat Latest Expedition again. I just think Monkfish is a different animal than any of these here. And he's unbeaten over chase fences, like, so. I just think 8-15, I know it is very short and there's no fun in it, but well, there is a bit of fun in it watching potential superstar, like. But from a betting perspective, there's not too much fun in it.
Yeah, it's just something that it's been catching my eye the last maybe day or two now that the declarations are on and we know what's kind of going. Like, this is a 5-horse race. Monkfish probably wins this as easy as he likes all day long. Then you're trying to look at the rest of them as to what comes where. Now, I watched the Colin Tizard one I done the other day with Nick Lucken Sunday. You know, he's pretty bullish enough about the big breakaways chance. But I think there's a bet to be had here on the Wednesday. Eclat de Rire for Henry has been mighty impressive in 2 starts this year. Now, Henry has put the kettle on then later on in the championships, which we'll be touching on. But I think my bet, I'm going to have a nice wee double on Eclat de Rire and put the kettle on without both of them, without the favourite in the race. You should still get them at a nice enough price because the rest of them are all evenly enough matched in the market.
Yeah, I'd agree, Dean. I actually, in the anti-post, if anybody was watching this, I put Eclat de Rire up as one in the betting without, just at 4-1. Now, I just looked at it there just before we come on. It's 9-4 now betting without. Like, very impressive at Punchestown and Naas. I just love the way he got the job done in this. He just he galloped away from the front. He beat a Scary at 10 and Pencil full of lead. I think there's a wee bit more to come. And look, Monkfish is a monster. Yes, I agree. Ecladoria is probably second best, and I'd be happy enough to play 9 to 4 without.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. If you are going for a bet in this, that is the bet to go for, isn't it? I think it's tough as nails, really. Should we move on to the Carl Cup, boys? I've went for a bit of an outsider in this. Emma Laval's Shang Tang. Tom Bellamy's going to ride. I think the trip is absolutely ideal. He won a qualifier at Fakenham in February and ran a fairly good race at Doncaster in a Grade 2 novice hurdle, finishing 5th. I think the trip in that was just a bit too far. If the ground is more on the softer side here, I'd say we could see Shang Tang go very close here. 28-1 looks a brilliant each way price.
Yeah, do you want to go ahead on?
Yeah, just look. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of firms going 5-6 pace in this race. The one that stands out for me is the Emmett Mullins trained Sneaky Getaway. I actually put this horse up last time at Dundalk for one of our Dundalk previews when he was second to Grandmaster Flash. Just very interesting that he's gone this route now, gone to the Coral Cup. I've seen 14-1 available. Look, he's plenty of class. He was 8 in the Cesarewitch back in 2019 behind Stratham. He's an interesting runner off 10 stone 8 with Brian Hayes aboard. Just one to keep a close eye on. Keep an eye on the market now between now and Wednesday. I'd say he might shorten a wee bit, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm going to take a big price one on this as well. I do like Grand Roa for Sneezy Foster and Jack Kennedy, but I'm going to put Birchdale up each way here. Like everybody, JP's renowned for having great success at Cheltenham and targeting one maybe for a handicap, and I think this lad could go under the radar a wee bit. There's 16-1. And around 16-1. I'd be happy to take him each way, get a run for your money, hopefully.
Yeah. We've gone for big prices there. Look, there's plenty of value to be had if the bookies stay pay out at 6 places or 5 or 6 places. There is plenty of value. Moving on to the champion chase. Dean, look, you have put me. I can't look past right now. But the cattle on. I was actually looking at it. Aidan Coleman has never been beaten when he's rode Put the Cattle On. Yeah, look, she's a monster, really, isn't she? She won the Oracle very impressively last year. I know she finished behind Chacon for Swat last time, but they're 2 completely different tracks, and it was never the plan for Put the Cattle On to go to Leopardstown. So, yeah, I think Put the Cattle On at 9-1, 10-1 is huge. Even
yeah, it's like I touched on earlier on. I don't know what the bet without market is in this here, but Put the Kettle On. I can't look past it, lads. Nubia Negra has had 1 run and beat Altior. Altior has now become a non-runner, so we don't know much about that. Politologue is getting on in years, albeit a good winner of the race last year whenever Shacon was pulled out on the morning of the race. But if you're looking for consistency and a mare that's been around Cheltenham and proven around Cheltenham, you look no further than Put the Kettle On. She's receiving £7 as well. She's only a 7-year-old. As you say there, Ryan, Aidan Coleman's never been beat. She's 3 for 3 around Cheltenham. 9-1, 10-1. I was expecting whenever Altior was pulled out this year, maybe cut on the second favourite around 6 or 7-1. Still, she went out to 10-1 for a stage earlier on the day. That's mad value. Mad value.
Yeah, I do see you as a comment. Look, for me, I didn't rate too much on this race. I just wrote Chacon Persois wins. Look, if we look later on in the week, you're going to have the likes of, we talk Monkfish and Violin. Chacon Persois is in that caliber for me. 5-6. I think it's probably very fair at 5-6. He was electric this season so far. He demolished a decent field at the Dublin Racing Festival last time. Look, everyone's talking about the track, this, that, and the other. Will he handle it? Does he get up the hill? Yeah, we don't know that. The one thing he does do is he jumps, he gallops. I think he stays. I'm more than happy to play at 5-6.
We'll move on to cross country, guys. So might not be the festivals here. Easy Slant at even money. They're all on the same weight here. There's no weight advantage to any of them. Tiger Roll, I said it before and I'll say it again. I think Tiger Roll's done. should be retired. Potter's Corner hasn't been his usual self this season. I know Easy Slan didn't do great back in November, but I just think Easy Slan, from what he did last year and this, I can see him doing it again. Even money, he'll definitely be in a few multiples anyway. And I just think he wins easy.
Are you worried about such a long layoff, the 124-day layoff?
No.
You know, whenever most of the rest of them there's had some sort of a run. Cross country is like, as you say, like it really is. That'll be a lottery there. Like who takes that? Looking down through it, yeah, I would give maybe some neck a mention, maybe a chance for an each way bet there. You know, he's got what is it, 11-4. You know, I would give him maybe a bit of an each way chance at 14s, but at one my race I would be loading in on.
Yeah, I'll follow you in, Dean. I fancy some neck for this. I've actually have him in a couple anti-post bets, 16s, 18s. Look, he's an enigmatic grey. We all know that. I think this new discipline's really it's I don't know. It's got him thinking a wee bit more about the game now. Ben Harvey gave him a great ride, and I know we talked about this before in the anti-post where he actually got a ban after. But he rode him really well that day to get him up and win. He's a caution distance winner. Tiger Rule's a caution distance winner, and Easy Slan, and I think there's another one in it as well. But the thing for me, you have a caution distance winner 12-14 to 1, and you have a caution distance winner on Easy Slan even money. The 12 to 1 looks big each way. Look at the same thing as we talked already. Betting without or each way, I'll be happy to play 12-14 to 1.
Yeah. We move on to the Grand Annual, and ABO, I mentioned him in the anti-post before this. It's still in it. Trained by Venetia Williams. Look, he absolutely blew me away. The last two rides, really. Charlie Deutsch gave him probably one of the best rides you'll ever see last time out. And he was second to Sky Pirate at Cheltenham in December. He lost to Sky Pirate by about 3 lengths. There's only £2 separating them now. I know it's only £1 from what it was, but look, it could be a bit of a difference over a slightly shorter trip.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Again, it's not a race that I have a strong or particular fancy on, or I've even had an anti-post bet on, but it was interesting. I did see a thing the other day where actually Joseph O'Brien and a few others were given a charity bet for charity, and Austin M was Joseph's selection. You know, each way at 16 to 1 on this. So Joseph was a small enough team going over the year, and you know he's got and took us in this race as well. And he wouldn't be without a chance, but for him to put up Austin M each way, it would give me a bit of confidence in backing him as well. So I would just have a small play each way and on 16s.
Yeah, I've gone the other way. I actually fancy Tukas. I can actually see this being somewhat of a JP gamble on the day. Look, you're looking at 13 to 2 now. I think he wouldn't surprise me if we went off 7 to 2, 3 to 1, 4 to away with the sea last time, 11%. The third was the Shunta, who, look, we're keeping a close eye on where he goes. He went to Kelso and won the Mo battle. The fifth was Machuca. It's come out in 1 cent. He's probably found it hard to win over fences, this horse, but look, he's a nice way to 10-11. I'd be probably playing now on this horse rather than waiting until closer to the off time. I'd say the price might be gone.
Yep. And boys, we'll move on to the final race. My good thing for the bumpers, not in it anymore. Hollow Games isn't in it. So I am going for one of Willie Mullins' outsiders, Grangie. Only defeat came at the hands of Eileen Dover, who after that race they came straight out and said, look, we're not going to Cheltenham, we're going to Aintree. Then after that, Jodie Townend gave her an absolutely lovely run at Leopardstown and won at 18 to 1, I think it was. Yeah, I think Grangie's an each way bet, or maybe something in the place betting at 21. So.
Yeah, I've been a Sir Gerhard fan from day one whenever there was a lot of talk about him coming from the point field. They're going to stick with him. I think he's as good as they come. Now, it'll be interesting if you watch the market on the day, because now with Wally Mullins, the bumper king, it really is going to be what happens. Like I see there, Kilcrut's out now to 2-1 joint favourites with Sir Gerhard, whereas he was 7-4 favourite or whatever a couple of days back. Although this race tends not to actually favour too many favourites, I think he's a good thing, and I'm not going to change my mind this close to the day.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Look, he absolutely bolted up at down rail. Travelled really well to win the Navan, but he stayed on really strongly. Look, if you can win a Navan, you can stay on strongly in Navan. I don't think the Cheltenham Hill will be much of an issue. Again, like we're talking prices, 15-8, 2-1. Like again, I think that's massive, and it wouldn't surprise you if it's a lot shorter, closer to the off.
Yeah, I would be in agreement with his lads out of the top two in the market. I'd go for Sir Gerhard himself. Cheveley Park obviously won this last year, and the owners Kilcrut came second in that as well, so a repeat of that. Yeah, that's it, boys. Nap next best each way, Dean.
Nap of the day. Put the kettle on each way, because I know it's not. I know we're doing an each way bet as well, but I just can't get enough of Put the Kettle On, lads. Honest to God, I'll be shocked and I'll be disappointed if she's not on the first three. Like, next best Sir Gerhard, and each way us and them 16s.
Oh.
Yeah, my nap's going to be Bob Ollinger in the first. My next best is actually going to be a Cladaria without Monkfish. I think if you can get the 9-4, take it pretty quick, because I think it'll be a lot shorter. And the each way, look, we'll go sneaky getaway just on that run behind Grandmaster Flash and Dog.
Yeah, my nap is easy slant nap of the festival. My next best, I'm actually going to take Italy on the Grand Annual at 12-1. And my each way, I'm going to go Shang Tang in the Carl Cup, provided I get 5 places. Any lays of the day? Sure,
No, don't think so. Not a fan of laying.
If the only one I was going to lay, I might lay a wee bit of your nap, Ryan. Easy's land.
I would lay Jack on for Flaw, because I think Put the Kettle On's going to win it. So I'll argue it to there.
That's all right, Ryan.
Yeah, that's it then, boys, is it?
That's it.
Yeah.
Be back for the next day.
Back for Thursday.